At this point in my life, I've always wanted to be an entrepreneur, and I decided to go for it. I've got over 30 years of experience in law firms, mostly as an executive director for small, medium, and large firms. I've seen it. I like to think I've seen it all. So I joined a consulting firm called C-Suite Impact, and I have lots of resources available to me. And with my 30 years of experience and with the consultants that I have available, I can make some magic. I like to think every day is a new mountain to climb. It's different. When you're consulting, you're on a project and you make that project happen. And I mentioned earlier that I had been principal of a book called Best Practices in Legal Management, a Comprehensive Guide. Well, those things don't just happen. What happens is you have to have a plan, you implement the plan, you get people on board. I have been known to be enthused about things and that it's contagious. I got 90 people to volunteer their time to write chapters in the book called Best Practices. They were all excited about it. I got them to do it at no cost. They got full credit. And this book was published in 5 months from the time we started until the time we ended. And I made it happen, and I'm known as somebody who can make things happen. I'm going to talk about 3 clients in particular. One, I walked into the office, found out that the billing department was taking 3 weeks per month to send out their bills. When I was finished, it took 3 days to get the same bills out electronically. That made a huge impact for that firm. Think of the cash flow issues. Think about all the ramifications of that. The second one, there were some unbalanced escrow accounts after a CFO had resigned who was disgruntled, and it had gone on for over 4 years. So I went in and helped them reconcile those bank accounts. And keep in mind that it's a real problem for attorneys to have unreconciled bank accounts. They could lose their license, so I made that happen. I fixed it so that it wouldn't happen. And then the third one is there was a law firm that was on the verge of bankruptcy, and their CFO had left the firm. And I walked in, and we found out that a lot of it was because the e-billing departments, the e-billing systems were not paying them on a timely basis or at all, or a very low percentage of what they were due. And I went deep into their accounting systems, obtained the data, used pivot tables, and I was able to make P&Ls for each and every client so they could see which clients were profitable and which clients were not profitable. That's very valuable information, and I was very happy to be able to help those firms. There are challenges in law firms. Lawyers are not trained to be business people, and business people aren't trained to be lawyers. So I have found that communication is one of the major issues in resolving those types of situations in law firms. You have to get them on the same page. I normally approach it with the value of what will happen when we implement certain solutions. And once they understand the value, it all begins to make sense. But it is a hard sell as a consultant. I think the biggest challenge in the legal industry is no law firm wants to be first. I have found over the years that if there's a new technology, some other firm has to have gone and done it first and implemented it in their firm. And then you create a list of firms that are doing that, and then you can get it in your firm, because they just won't do it as a first try. That's an issue. It's a challenge. but it's also, you have to go with the flow. You have to, I think everything revolves around communications. And if the attorneys understand that the new technology is something that they need and that they want, and when they get to a point where they want it, then you have done your job of communicating. My advice for law firms starting a practice is to get help immediately. Get yourself a consultant the minute you start the business. Go back to the point when I was talking about billing for 3 weeks versus 3 days. If you set it up so that you're billing every 3 weeks, that's going to last for years, and that's going to cost your firm a ton of money in cash flow. And believe me, when you start any business, you want your cash flow at an optimal level. So get help and get it quick. I love projects. I love being able to not do the same thing every day. So it's a new mountain to climb every day. I like to make an impact on the clients that I'm consulting with. The book is an example of that. The book that I'm a principal of is in the Library of Congress. Every single person that contributed to that book is in the Library of Congress, including myself. It's quite an accomplishment. You had made an impact, and you made a change. My final thoughts are, look around in your office and look and see how everything is working. And is there anything that needs to be fixed? And if there is, consider calling a change agent, such as myself. And to get you to that point, that whatever it is that needs to be fixed, how much is that costing your firm not to fix it? Think about that, because it will go on for years. That's my final conclusion.